So once again, we're having our broadcast, the Fifth Dimensional Academy of Higher Consciousness, and broadcasting from Los Angeles on this glorious day. So is there anything in particular any of you want me to talk about after we do our meditation? Because as you all know the drill, we're going to do the meditation first, and then there would be a transmission of the energy, and then after that we talk about whatever that comes up, that there's an issue you're struggling with, something's coming up for you that you feel like you need to bring it on, and we get into it. Anybody? Any questions? No questions. What a nice bunch. You're always quiet. So, on that note, then we are going to, there are all these natural disasters are happening all over the planet. You're aware of what's going on in Florida? Have you heard of it? Yeah? Of these hurricanes? Yeah. And there's been a lot of fires all over the U.S. And we had a flooding in Houston. And then there was a big earthquake in Mexico. And I think there was a big earthquake in Nepal, right, Shishi? Was it Nepal?
No, it was flooding, massive flooding in Nepal.
Yeah, massive flooding. So there's people who've lost their homes and their loss of lives. People died. So why don't we do this for a moment? We just send love and light. You can close your eyes, come back to your heart, and come to this area, your heart chakra, and begin with feeling the presence of yourself, the presence of love that is here. And those of you who've been with me long enough, you know how to come to this place, the center of yourself, and feel your own being. You've already discovered that love comes from you. God is here within your own heart. You know it. We've gone through this many different times. So just come to this part of yourself. And bring forth the love. And feel the love that is here. The love that comes from you. The love that surrounds your being. In these few moments, you're taking your time, sink into yourself, your presence, your being. And now you can visualize and see that your heart is opening up through your visualization. And there's a light pouring out of your heart. Love is pouring out of your heart. This love that you feel for yourself. Now it's coming out of you, and you're able to send it and share it with the other people, the other beings all over the planet Earth, and sending your love to the disaster areas. And wishing warm and comfort and support for all of our brothers, sisters all over the universe. Knowing that in these tough times for a lot of people who are suffering, that love heals the wounds that's been inflicted on these people, and brings the light, brings warmth, that we're here holding our brothers, sisters from all over the planet who are in need and suffering. We're holding them in our hearts. As we're holding ourselves, as I'm holding myself in my heart, as I'm loving myself, I'm able to love others and transmit this love energy, this love frequency to everywhere, to all the human beings suffering, as well as the animal kingdom and the vegetable kingdom. As my mind quiets down and I sink inside my heart, I feel the presence of Her Majesty, the Supreme Soul, the love of God, more and more than ever. And comes this sense of comfort, and comes this understanding that all is well, everything is in divine's hands. God, the Supreme Soul, the creative of all, knows what it's doing. Even though I don't understand. Even though I have a hard time comprehending. But I trust in that which knows all. I trust in God. I trust in the Spirit. I trust in the magic. as you become more and more quiet and sink within yourself deeper. You see and you feel this light that originates from your own heart, is taking over your body. It has and it is expanding to your home, taking over your house. Now you've become a ball of light, and this ball of light keeps expanding, taking over the entire area, the city, the town you live in. It's become a huge ball of light and love. And expanding more. It's taking the entire country that you live in. And gradually, this love, this light that comes from your heart is taken over the entire planet. The entire planet has become one big ball of light and love. You're simply here. You're simply breathing in and out. There is no agenda. We're just present in this moment. We are here drinking from this fountain of love and light, which originates from within our own selves. This fountain of love and light is coming from within yourself. Feeling the presence. in this very moment. Without any thinking, any mind process, you have dissolved and become one with your pure essence, which is the Atman, the very source of creation in this very moment. You can feel the presence of God. When the mind becomes quiet and you're just simply available in this moment, you're present and there's no agendas. You're not trying to do anything or go anywhere. Simply in this very moment, in your availability, by being available, Her Majesty, the Supreme Soul, the love shines itself and appears and shows herself in this very moment. And you can feel a deep calmness, deep sense of peacefulness and bliss. And a knowingness that all is well. Regardless of what is happening in our surroundings and in the world, all is well. And now you can put your hands on your heart if possible. Put your hands on your chest area. Feel the love which is here. Feel the love that is surrounding you in this moment. Feel this presence around you. This being which is coming from within yourself. And you can feel a presence of this powerful energy field that calms you. It's soothing. You can feel the love. And repeat after me. I love myself.
I love myself.
I love myself.
I love myself.
I love everybody.
I love everybody.
I share my love with all my brothers, sisters.
I share my love with all my brothers and sisters
from all over the planet.
from all over the planet.
I send my love and light to all my brothers, sisters
I send my love and light to all my brothers and sisters
in disaster areas.
in disaster areas.
My brothers, sisters are all in my prayers.
My brothers and sisters are all in my prayers.
I hold them all in my heart.
I hold them all in my heart.
As my brothers, sisters, and I are one.
As my brothers, sisters, and I are one.
And now you can see, as you have your eyes closed, that the connection has been made. And you have become a powerful conduit of love and light. And love and light has made itself more powerful, its presence available to you. And we're going to do another prayer to bring us to this place of service. So we become conduits of love and light for our brothers, sisters in need. And as you have your hands either on your chest area or you open up towards the heavens and sky, we ask for the power of Her Majesty, the Supreme Soul, to come through us and shoots to all our brothers, sisters all over the planet for healing. So you can repeat after me. You who are the source of all powers,
You are the source of all powers,
whose rays illuminate the whole world.
whose rays illuminate the whole world.
Illuminate also my heart,
Illuminate also my heart,
so that it too can do your work.
so that it too can do your work.
I hope.
I hope.
Now, as you have your eyes closed, you can see that the light starts to increase in your visualization. You can see there is a drastic change in light. As in this moment, you're being used as a conduit of love and light, of divine love and light. And you're consciously, willingly, selflessly, as offered to be used as a vessel of love, to transfer this divine energy to all of our brothers, sisters in need all over the planet. Slowly, slowly come back. So we come back here again. It's very intoxicating, isn't it? That you feel like you want to stay in this place for a long time. You feel that? Do you feel the presence? Are you feeling the love and the juice? I'm going to unmute you for a minute to see if there's no funny sounds, then we can communicate. See what happens. Hi. Do you feel, you felt this presence and you're feeling it right now? Maybe your hands are tingling.
Yes.
You feel this love. Do you know where this comes from? Do you know this is you? Do you recognize that?
Yes.
Yes. This comes from yourself. Don't fall asleep and think this is coming from somewhere else. This is your own presence. Don't project this on me. It's not me who's doing this to you. It's really yourself. You're quieting down. You're sitting with yourself. And then it shows itself. It's really coming from you. It's not coming from the guru. It's not coming from the teacher. It's simply your inherited birthright of love and the divine presence. But we have a tendency, because we don't know about it and we're not educated enough, we like to project it and on somebody else. And in that, we live a life, a long life of being confused and searching for it outside of ourselves. Maybe somebody else can give it to us. I've been there. I've done that for a very, very long time. Looking for love in all wrong places. But it's here. And we reach this place of divine self in a matter of few moments. We just became quiet and opened our hearts. And it revealed itself. Hi, Christine. How are you? Williams?
Oh, hi there. Yes, I'm good, thank you. You?
I'm good. You asked me that question. Do you mind if I share it with everybody, the answer to it?
What about the question I was talking about dimensions?
Yes.
No, no. I was wondering whether you're going to bring that up or not. That's absolutely fine, no problem. I was just going to say to you, I did feel a lot of warmth in the hands.
Right.
Meditation we've just done. It was fabulous meditation.
Right.
Prayer meditation, anyway.
Right. But yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
Well, I was gone this weekend. I went to the Bhakti Fest. It's a festival about 3 hours away from Los Angeles. It's a spiritual festival. And in Joshua Tree, very beautiful area in Joshua Tree National Park. But anyway, I wasn't on YouTube, on Facebook, so I wasn't really much checking messages or returning any messages.
Oh, I didn't expect an instant reply.
What's that?
I didn't expect an instant reply.
No, that's fine. I'm just explaining because a couple other people asked me questions too. So, but anyway, you mentioned that why I call this fifth dimensional quantum healing, or my fifth dimensional guides, or how did this come up? Is that okay if I'm asking?
Oh, absolutely. Yes,
yeah.
yes. Yes, there's no problem.
Right. Well, fifth dimension, what happened was in 2009, sometimes in February, March, April, I started hearing voices. I started hearing these I call fifth dimensional guides, entities whispering in my ears. And the whisper was, they were telling me to go make a business card and print on this business card with healing, right? Healing. And I'm ignoring it. And then a week, 10 days after, I hear these whispers and says, okay, go make a business card, write quantum healing. So now I'm hearing quantum healing. And I keep ignoring it. And then it comes to fifth dimensional quantum healing. And I'm like, what in the world is fifth dimensional quantum healing? I don't even know what it means. So then they asked me to go and research it on the internet. So I started reading about fifth dimension, quantum healing, and slowly as I go forward, things start to make sense. But I'm still very resistant. I'm not gonna go write a business, make a business card, write fifth dimensional quantum healing, and make a fool out of myself. But situation started to change, and they're kind of like squeezed me more and more in that direction. And many, many different signs started to come. Very powerful signs that I was to do this. And it was a very frightening transition in my life from doing other things in my life for living, and all of a sudden you just give up everything else and become a spiritual teacher and healer, and coming up with the name fifth dimensional quantum healing, which is definitely on the wild side and not so much at the time accepted, definitely not by my family or friends. So that's basically, it's just a short introduction to how it started it. And then I had a series of downloads and information being transmitted to me. It's a long story because many synchronicity events happen, very powerful events that everything was pointing out at this, that I should start doing this and come out and announce that I'm a healer, including having a encounter with my deceased sister, that I went to see a medium, psychic in Sedona, Arizona, and through this psychic, my sister, who passed away in 2003, she came through her and she started to talk to me. And everything that the psychic was telling me about my sister was accurate. So, and it was very, very clear that this was not just something somebody is making up, because of everything she was telling me was so precise that only my sister could have known. And I mean, it was a very strong emotional reading, and I'm crying, sobbing for 2 hours, basically. And the psychic lady is telling me and giving me information. But the main part of this was that my sister was really like adamant in, she really kicked my butt and was really strong. She was hardcore of saying that I'm really afraid, telling me that I'm a coward, I don't have any guts, and I'm hiding. I have the power and I have the wisdom that I can do this, but I'm hiding out and I'm not living my truth. I'm not living my destiny. And this is my destiny, and I have to come out from hiding and make an announcement that I'm a healer, which I had a hard time saying that word to anybody. I was hiding it out. So that's basically how it started it. But answering your other question of, as this is happening, this having this encounter with my sister, there's hundreds of different synchronicities are happening too, that significant people showing up in my life, acknowledging this, confirming what I'm doing, miracles are happening, and help coming, and people pushing me in this direction, opening their home to me to do the first fifth dimensional quantum healing, which I did it at a friend of mine's house, and she invited all of her friends to come to the event, and she introduced me to LA community, and I needed that kind of support because I just couldn't do anything on my own as far as just doing what? Go make some business cards and start telling people that this is what I'm doing, but I needed help, and things started to fall into places, and one thing led to another, and as this process was taking place, in the meantime, the Grand Spirit shut down and closed down all other avenues, closed down all the other doors for me to make a living. Everything else became like impossible to go any other direction. And I was a businessman, and I was successful, and I did very well. But all the other doors started to shut down. And it was very, very clear. The message was very clear. You're to do this and nothing else. This is what we want you to do. And there was no choice. I had no choice. It wasn't like, oh, I can decide to do something else. There was zero choice. It was very clear that this is the direction you need to go. Now, that said and done, it still wasn't an easy path. It wasn't like, okay, existence, God comes and says, okay, I want you to do healing work. This is what I want you to do, to channel this energy and serve me. But it wasn't like all of a sudden everything just was super easy and I got to where I am right now. There was a lot of challenges, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of things I had to face and go through, and had to learn a lot of different aspects of this work, because the channeling, the work, the healing is one only part of it. It's one part of what we do. The existence forced me to have one foot in the heaven and one foot on the earth. Because when you're doing this work and you really get into it and you lose yourself into this energy, and it's just so yummy, so juicy, I mean, it's so intoxicating that you don't want to come back to the planet. You're so high from it, and you just want to stay in that place. But obviously, God did not want to make an angel out of me to keep me in the heaven. It was saying, you got to go down there and do the work. You have to go get your hands and feet dirty. Can't just stay in the clouds all the time. So by that I mean, you come back and there's administrative part of this. Administration, planning, communicating with a lot of different people, finding locations to do the work, advertisement, finance. Financing is a big challenge, always. Financing this enterprise is a major challenge all the time, because now you have to also be a businessman, of being a healer, spiritual teacher, and then you need to be an administrator and learn management. Because just because you're a very good healer or a teacher, that doesn't mean you know how to manage things, or you have any sense of finances, money management, people management, communication, and then technology, learning about computers and devices and websites and advertisement and landing pages. Oh my God, it just, the list goes on and on. I probably would have never done it if I knew. I probably would have never done it if I knew how tough it is in the beginning. If I had an idea what a mountain I have to climb, it's very much possible I would have never done that. But somehow it just happened, and existence pulls you through, and that which wants this to happen, make it happen. Every day I come to more of this clearing and clearance of existence, that everything is being run by the boss. Everything is being run by the very source. The presence of the one that is running the entire universe, the one that which has created the entire universe. To me, it's more and more apparent, especially ever since I've been doing the healing work and channeling work. It's so clear that there is this intelligence is doing the healing work, is doing the channeling work. There's this intelligence that's running the show, keeping things together or breaking things apart. And yet it appears, it looks like, it feels like you're the person who's doing it. It feels in that way. There's this feeling of personal authorship, that you're the author of your life. You're the one who's calling the shots. You're the one who's making the decisions. You're powerful. You have this sense of your free will. But the more I go deeper into this path of illumination, the more it becomes clear that I'm not the one who's calling the shots. I'm not the one who's doing it. Something is doing me. Something's running. This intelligence is running through me and making these decisions, whether they're right, they appear to be right or wrong, whether I fail, if I do something stupid and silly, or if I do something great. It's very clear that it wasn't me doing it. It is doing it. And it's very clear it's doing it through everything else and everyone else. And this is not something I would want to convince anybody of, because I was in the spiritual festival just last weekend, and there's plenty of teachers and teachings that they're supporting this other part, that you are a person, you have your free will, you're mighty, you're powerful, and you can do your own thing. You're the author of your life. You're calling the shots, you're making the decisions. There were so many workshops, so many gurus, so many teachers were teaching that. And I have no intention of talking you into what I've discovered in my life. This is my personal or discovery that has been revealed to me. But it's very clear for me that I'm not the one who is living this life. This life is being lived through the higher source, through that. And I can see it, it's living it through every other being on this planet. Everything is being run by that one source. There is absolutely no separation. Nothing. And by that is, if you see, look at the ocean. You see the ocean and you see a wave rising. And the waves, let's say each wave is a person. It's a human being who was born, is a wave. And there are all these different waves rising and falling and rising and falling. Some of them really big, some of them small. Some days it's very stormy, some days it's very calm. But where, you know, a wave is rising, it's the birth of a person, and they're growing up, and they're becoming bigger, and they're becoming more powerful, or wherever they get, you know, maybe they become a leader of a country, maybe they're a mom, maybe they're a carpenter, maybe they're an athlete, maybe they're a murderer, whatever they are. But it's a wave rising, and this wave falls back into the ocean. Can we say the wave is not a part of the ocean? Wave is the ocean. But then when the wave is rising and it's going really high up, and it has this sense that it's separated, it has this sense that it has its own autonomy and it's doing its thing. There's this sense of it. But then at the end, where does it fall back into? Where did its power come to be a powerful wave and go really high up? What's pushing it up? It is the ocean acting as a wave. and it just falls back. At the end, it goes back to where it came from. And that's the realization that happened for me. That's what I realized. You want to call it awakening, whatever name you want to call it, is the recognition of that there is no separation with anything. It's all your own self. And in that, you may think, well, then if I don't have any free will of myself, if I'm not a person, then what am I doing in this life? Why should I live it anymore? Why shouldn't I just stay home and not go to work anymore? Or whatever obscure behavior I may have, I'm not responsible for it. What's the meaning of life? Why am I living it? How can I not have any free will of myself? But if you really examine it, you will see the majority of your life, you're going in directions and doing things you don't really want to do. Or that's not what you imagine you wanted to do. Sometimes you do some very silly stuff that you wonder, was it me did it? How the hell did I do that? How did I make that decision? And then, when you're making these decisions that it goes your way and it's positive, you say it was me, I did it. Me. You like to take the credit. But all those other direct times that you wanted to go here and you ended up there. You wanted to be, I don't know, a nurse, a doctor, an attorney. You ended up marrying your high school sweetheart and you had 3 kids, and then you divorced and you never left the town you lived in, or whatever. I'm using examples. And you're wondering at age 50, what happened? I never did the things I wanted to do when I was 20 years old. What happened? Well, what I'm saying is, when I realized this, I also realized that it's all is very well. The recognition that the intelligence is running me, and it's not the sky. And what a relief in surrendering into it, and the struggle is gone. And then it just reveals itself more and more to you. Actually, life becomes more juicier and more fun and more playful, because the fear starts to disappear. The fear that, oh, what is going on? The Armageddon is happening. The world's going to end with all these floodings and all this stuff. And what's going to happen to the world? What should I do? That sense goes away, because you are very calm and quiet into knowing that Spirit, God, is running the show. It's its own doing. And in its own doing, you're not afraid of anything, because it's a part of yourself. The recognition of your oneness with everything. Because even though you're a wave, but this wave is a part of the ocean. So what could the ocean do to you? It's like This is my pinky. And does my pinky say, I'm independent, I make my own decisions, I live my own life? Does it say that? Or it's a part of the whole body? And does this one go to war with this one? This one is going to fight this. Or the pinky wants to go and poke into its own eye. Attack, your fingers attacking your own eye. It's all the same body. And when you recognize that, which you do, you're probably not paying attention to it because nobody's really pointing it out in that way. And I don't blame you. Everybody, all the books and teachers and everything you're reading is so much emphasizing on separation, that you're somebody capable of doing your own thing and you're responsible. You have responsibility, and actually you're a mess. You're screwed up because you got all these childhood issues and you got these abandonment problems and you're lost and you got hate and anger and everything, and now you need to start working on all these things to fix them. So now you got a lot of problems to work on. And you keep working on it over and over again. How many of you have gone to therapy or a lot of other teachers and you've been working on self-realization work? This weekend, and I was at Bhakti Fest, I have friends who are in their 70s and they're still going, sitting with the guru, working on themselves. And I was like, oh my God, you've been doing this for 40 years. How many more years do you want to work on yourself? You haven't gotten it yet. What is it you want to work on anymore? Why don't we get rid of the one who wants to work on itself? And we're done. We don't need to do any work. If we go after this thought, this sense that I'm separated from the source, so now I need to work on something. And if I get rid of this thought that I have, that I'm separated, if I can bypass that one, then what's left to work on? I'm going to give you another example. In between your thoughts, your thinking, if you pay attention, there's gaps that there's no thoughts because you're not thinking all the time. You're not thinking continuously. Because if you were thinking continuously, you would have never known silence. You would have never known what's peace, peace of mind, quietness would have never existed because you're thinking all the time. So you are used to noise all the time. You would have never known silence. So there must be time that there's no thoughts in your mind, and you see this, you feel the silence. It's like clouds in the sky. Clouds, 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 clouds. But there has to be time that there's no clouds. And then you see the blue sky. Otherwise, you would have never known there is a blue sky if it's always cloudy. So the same thing here. when there is no thoughts, in between your thinking mind, there are gaps that there's no thoughts. In those between gaps that there's no thoughts, you see yourself. You experience yourself. You get glimpses of yourself. That is the pure being, the pure presence. You get glimpses of God that you are. You get glimpses of the intelligence, universal intelligence, the very presence that we just experienced half an hour ago when we did the meditation, or every time you do it. Every time you go into deep silence and there's no thoughts, all of a sudden you can feel the presence. You feel the bliss, the peace comes, quietness comes. And this sense of all is very well comes. Even though it may be short gaps. Oh, I feel this Zarathustra when I'm with you. I feel it sometimes when I do meditation. I definitely feel it when I come to your workshop. So how many of you have said that to me? When I come to your workshop, it's amazing, wow, right? So what happens is that there are bigger gaps, bigger periods of there's no thoughts, that you're quiet. And when you're not thinking, means there's no you there. You disappear because your thinking is related to your thought of I thought, your idea of who you think you are. It's a simple thought because you keep always telling yourself, I don't like this, I don't like that, I want to go there, I want to do this. Pay attention to your mind. Every time you're talking to yourself, you always say, I'm not sure if I want this. I'm not sure if I want to do that. Examine your thoughts, and you're using I all the time. Continuously, you're hearing this I. Now, if you get rid of this I, this thought, and just see for yourself what's there, and you will be blown away. And you may find what you've been trying to find all your life. Because what's really you're looking for, it's really inside yourself. This divine oneness that you're looking for, it's inside yourself. It's in removal of the one who's trying to find it. If you get rid of the one who's trying to find it, remove it, and that's there already. And this is what happened for me, is to recognize that. Of course, my teacher, my guru, was pointing to that direction. And I needed that because I was looking for it outside of myself. Well, as I started to bring my attention inwards, looking within, I began to notice that it's here. I began to notice that at any moment, at any single moment, if I want to feel God, I get engaged into doing my work and I'm doing things, then I become a human being, which is okay. You go into this separated place. You're doing your stuff. You're administrating this. You're doing whatever you're doing. You go to your human mode, which is perfectly fine, because that's a part of being in this dimension, becoming a human and doing things, going into this separation place or appearance of separation. And you do things and you want things for yourself and you're collecting things for yourself. I understand that. That's perfectly fine. Don't confuse things with that. But the moment you stop and sink inside yourself, and as your mind quiets down, the mind disappears, the presence starts to appear. The presence. God reveals itself. Shishi, can you stop? Please, thank you. God starts to reveal. God, the big kahuna. Because where do you think you're going to find God? Where would it be? When? It's here, right now. Always here. It's omnipresent. You have read this in books. Omnipresence. Everywhere. That means you need to quiet down, stop, and stop worrying about what's going to happen in the world and the world's going to end and da, 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 and your boyfriend didn't pay attention to you and your mom is giving more of her stuff to your sister than you. You need to stop these things and sink in. And all of a sudden you start to feel the presence. Because the presence is here in this moment. The presence of God, you feel it here in this moment when you quiet down and become available, and it will show itself to you. It's that simple. And I know some of you what you're thinking about right now, because I can hear your thoughts. I know some of you, oh, I am not there. I need to do a lot of work on myself before I get there. Oh, Zarathustra went to India and he's done a lot of self-work. Oh no, I'm not worthy to feel the presence of God. I cheated on my boyfriend. I cheated on my husband. I left my husband and my kids and I ran away to Asia with this Spanish guitar player. And I'm guilty and I'm not worthy. I'm a dirty person. I've done a lot of bad things. Your mind will come and tell you these things. That you're not worthy. You're not there. You're too small. There's a lot you need to work on yourself. You have to take a lot of more workshops with Guruji and Babaji and this and that and da 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 before You're close. This is a game your mind is playing and has been playing with you all of your life. It's a game of separation to keep you in separation, to keep you a beggar, to keep you poor. Because as long as you play this game, you're a beggar. I'm sorry, you're a beggar. You're begging. You're begging all these other teachers and gurus to give you a little bit juice, to give you a little coin into your begging bowl, when you have it all inside yourself. A king, forgotten to be a king and acting as a beggar. My teacher used to tell me this and I didn't understand it. And now I understand it. It's here and it's in you. And it's always going to be with you, and there's nothing to worry about. Nothing. Zero. Zero. You do not need to worry about the world's affairs. You don't need to concern yourself about anything. Because God is running through you, and God is running through everything, and is handling everything the way it needs to be. You can just relax and feel the presence of it. And then in this, then you're in service. You are of service then. Because you've anchored yourself into silence. You've become quiet. You're feeling the presence here. And in that, you have developed humility. You become humble because you're receiving, you're being showered. You're feeling the presence of God in your heart, and you become humble. Your ego goes away. This I am da 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 da. I am da, da. Look at me. This is me healing this person. This is me na 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 na. Or I didn't get my potatoes and he didn't look at me and na 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 na. All of this chatter will go away. All this human chatter will disappear. The more you're here, you're at the presence, because it's pouring bliss and showering you. And all this chatter becomes ridiculous for yourself. You don't even want to just give it any energy, because you're receiving the love. It's so powerful that nothing else matters. And you're quiet. And then your presence will affect the people around you on the planet. Because now you're not involved in the story called Maya, and you're centered, and wherever you go, you spread this love with other people. And I'm not talking about your ego coming and saying, oh, look at me, look at me. I found God, I've become God. Look at me, how great I am. No, I'm not talking about that one, because that's another trap that you can easily be stuck into it. And it's very obvious. You think you're not being seen when that happens, but it's very clear. Other people can see that. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. talking about you really learn to be quiet and hang with this. And the more you are with it, the more you can see it takes care of everything. It leads you to the right place. It will bring you to the right teacher. If you need an other teacher outside of you, it appears to you as it has. You find the right book. You find the fine person. You go to the right workshop. You find your community of friends who are like-minded. Everything will come automatically. You don't need to worry about it. You only do one thing. That's a very good deal. I only do one thing and everything else comes to me. How's that? Make this a practice, because in the beginning, for some of you, some of us, it's a little bit difficult till we get into the rhythm. Once you get into the rhythm, then it becomes very simple, very easy. And a part of that, to get in a rhythm, is take your time every day, if you can, and just simply stay in silence, be quiet. If you have to do the jumping jacks, any kind of meditations, you'll do that. Whatever you have to do to make yourself quiet. Whatever you have to do to take a little bit time off from your life, no matter how busy it is, you take that time off and you come and meet God, which is inside yourself, and you drink it. And it starts to grow. It will show its presence more and more in everyday life wherever you go. I feel the presence. I'm in the middle of the freeway in Los Angeles. Some days I have to drive for 3 hours in the city. And it's crazy. And it's traffic and people are cutting in front of you. And I'm in this place of feeling this love coming out of me and an excitement. Yeah, the nervous system is dealing with whatever it has to deal with, but there's this deep calmness and quietness inside that nothing disturbs it. That's the treasure. The treasure is not going to a quiet island in Canary Island and being there and saying, oh, okay, I want to live here all my life because I want everything to be quiet. Quietness, you find it here, and it goes with you anywhere you go. And that's the real treasure. And it can never be taken away from you. Then it's the treasure. So, my sisters, brothers, it's a pleasure seeing you. Our time has come to end. It's 11:32. For those of you who are in Los Angeles area, I actually have a few events coming. September 24th, October 15th, and October 21st and 22nd. I have 2 individual single workshops on 21st and 22nd, independently, 1-day workshop. And you can feel free to come on my website and join in. They're being sponsored by Mercy TV, who's sponsoring me now. I'm working with them. I'm heading back to Scandinavia on 24th. Actually, I arrive on 25th of October, and then we're doing the Solna Mesa in Stockholm for 2 days. Then I go to Hamar. Did I pronounce it right this time, Hilde? I go to Norway. I do a group healing event, and I'm doing the fifth dimensional quantum healing training, level 1 and level 2. I will be doing that in Norway. It's going to be the first week in November. All my schedule is printed on my website, Zarathustra.tv. And then after that, I head back to Stockholm, and we're going to do the healing training program, level 1 and 2. And the following week, healing training program, level 3 and 4. So I'm going to be offering level 3 and 4 in Stockholm for those of you who didn't have a chance to come to Åre. You can come to Stockholm and complete your training. I am not quite sure if in spring I will be offering level 3 and 4 in Scandinavia. So if you're interested in completing level 3 and 4, I would say do it this November in Stockholm. As at this point, I'm not really clear about my spring plans, because I'm working with this TV station, and we may take the events to Middle East area. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do, but everything is to be revealed at the right time. So I'll be in Scandinavia for 3 weeks, and then on 25th of November, I'm heading to Poland. So I'm going to be offering a series of different events in Poland for the first time. So I'm excited about expanding and meeting new people and seeing old friends. It's nice to see you all. God bless you. Next Academy event is next Tuesday, same time. So I look forward to seeing you. God bless.